Hey guys, today I have my friend, Dr. Taylor. She is a holistic health coach, a chiropractor, and she specializes in women's health and children, but also the whole family. So she is in close to Nashville, Tennessee. We actually came and our whole family was adjusted by you and had assessments by you, which was awesome. But I want to share her with you today because she has some resources that I really think our online community could really benefit from. So there's some tests like the Dutch test and a GI map that are just really that they help give information to your body as far as what's going on and root cause. And here at Labie Wellness, we love to discover the root cause. Zach had cancer at 33 years old, and we were like set out to find the root cause of why someone so young would get cancer. So,
Yeah.
but we met. Do you remember this? We met at the
Yes.
Beljanski Integrative Health Conference or
Yeah.
Cancer Conference. But before that, we both have a mutual love for Hope for Cancer.
Yes.
So have been following each other online and seeing each other's journeys. It's your dad
Yes.
has cancer
Uh-huh.
and went to Hope for Cancer. So anyway, when we met at the Beljanski conference, we were in the elevator the first time, and I was like, I think I know her. But anyways,
Same.
so then we get to last December, a couple months ago, we got to come and visit you in
Mhm.
person, and it was so neat seeing your little office, and it was so
Yeah.
cozy, and so I just thought, man, we need to share Dr. Taylor to the world. So,
Yeah.
thank you for being on our podcast. And also, just really quick for the listeners, you do things virtually. So they don't have to come and
Yes.
visit you like we did. We wanted to
That's
see you in
correct.
person, but you
Yes.
you do virtual visits as well. And those tests that we
Yeah.
talked about, the Dutch and GI, and if you
Yeah.
have other tests too that you can share with us, those can be done at home, and then you get the results
Mm-hmm.
and you can have a virtual appointment. So I'm so
Yes.
excited to learn more about these. So,
Me
let's
too.
start with the Dutch test because that's one that eventually I will want to do. I'm 5 months postpartum, so my hormones are
Yeah.
really not balanced right now. So, in a year, I'll do that. But we have a lot of people asking us questions about hormones and a lot of women in our life that seem to be not transitioning into menopause or in this perimenopause, and they're really tired and their cortisol levels are, spiking and dipping at the wrong times. And
Yeah.
so, can you explain why would someone want to do the Dutch test? What kind of information can they get from that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love testing hormones because hormones are a window into our overall health. Because if our hormones are out of balance, that tells me that there's something more going on within the body that are causing the hormones to be out of balance. Because hormones, they're not the cause, they're just merely a symptom of something else upstream that's going on. So, is it the GI, the digestive system? Is it your liver? Is it thyroid? Is it nutritional deficiencies? So many different things could be going on. But overall, if your hormones are out of balance, then that tells me that the body is struggling somewhere. And what I love about the Dutch test actually stands for dried urine test for comprehensive hormones. So it is a comprehensive hormone test, and it actually goes through the full cascade of hormones. So it starts with cholesterol to progesterone, pregnenolone, and then it just starts breaking down all the branches of hormones from there into DHEA and testosterone, and then your estrogens and um, blood testing is great, but blood only shows us a snapshot in time of what is running through the blood. Whereas the Dutch test, it's done over a couple days throughout the day at different times of the day. So it actually shows us how the hormones are being metabolized through the body. Um, so it gives us a much clearer picture and it gives us more information as to what's going on.
Okay, so explain the process of collecting urine throughout the
Yeah.
day. Like how many tests are there and
So all of these, most of the tests that I do, they can be shipped directly to your door and you do them in the comfort of your home. I do get blood labs from patients as well. And for that, you would just go to like LabCorp or Quest or somewhere. But with the Dutch test specifically, it comes with little strips that give you the directions for like what time of day you're supposed to do it on. And you can either urinate directly on the strip or you can pee in a cup and dip it in a cup. So then you let that dry. And then once you're done with all the strips, you just package it up in the prepaid mailer and you ship it off. Um, there's also a Dutch Plus, which I really like the Dutch Plus test because it includes saliva testing for cortisol. Um, and that's really nice because that really will show us like what your cortisol is doing throughout the day. Is it rising appropriately? Is it falling appropriately? Or is your adrenals, are they just completely tanked out and you're not even producing cortisol at all?
hmm
Um, so that is saliva, and those are just little, you just basically chew on a little piece of cotton and then put it in. So it's very easy, but gives us a lot of information.
Okay, so why do you think someone should do this test? Like what kind of symptoms could someone be having that they're like, I need to dig a little bit deeper?
Yeah. So specifically for women, it can be used for women or men, but typically when we're seeing hormone issues, it's in a lot of our women. So anyone that's having menstrual problems, PMS, PMDD, endometriosis, PCOS, infertility, low libido, chronic fatigue, trouble
This
sleeping,
is like
anxiety, irritability,
everyone. This is like
literally
everyone.
all the things. And
Yeah.
so many people have these issues that a lot of times it's just like, I feel like a lot of women feel like they're a woman, so this is just what women go through. And just because it's common does not mean it's normal. So,
Yeah, that's
and
so
then,
wise. I love
yeah,
that. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal. Also,
yeah,
I think a lot of times we blame things on like genetics. Like, well, my mom
yes,
struggled with this. My
yes,
grandma had this. All of my aunts had this. Well, let's think about is it genetic or is it environment?
yes,
You grew up in
yes,
the same home. So,
yes,
I just think like even with cancer that
yes,
like it's 5% of cancer
yes,
is genetic. The
yes,
rest of it is environmental, which we can
yes,
help, we can
yes.
change. So,
Exactly. Like, and I tell people the epigenetics or the environment, like you're talking about, are so much more important when it comes to these health issues because you can turn genes off and on. We know that. So yeah, it's like, yes, you grew up in the same household. You probably developed the same eating habits and the same, personal care habits and stress and,
sure.
trauma and things that
Yeah.
you've gone through because we know that healing is mind, body, and spirit. So there's all three of those components when it comes to developing chronic illness.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just throwing my information out there, but my whole mom's side of the family struggles with yeast infections
Yeah.
and like sometimes chronic. We've really figured it out like what causes them. But still there's this imbalance, right? Like that is it genetic, is it environmental? But there, there's so much to figure out in our bodies that we don't have to just guess based on
Yes.
symptoms when we have these tests that give us so much information.
Yes.
I like to say we can test, don't guess.
Exactly. That's
Um,
that's my philosophy too.
yeah. So, okay, someone if they want to do t the Dutch test, there's also the Dutch Plus. Is that what you
Hmm.
said?
Yes.
And
So
that
the Dutch
includes the
Plus is
cortisol.
great if you're dealing with more of that adrenal fatigue, like the burnout type symptoms.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Like I really feel like I crash in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I really try so hard to not have my coffee in the morning because I know in the afternoon I'm going to hit a brick wall.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
hold off. And yeah, there's that crash, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes that happens even later on in the day.
Yeah.
Um, but Yeah, so I know we talk with a lot of women who are struggling with that of feeling like tired and fatigued, but
Yeah,
then yet they wake up at 3 a.m. Like
I
our
know.
bodies shouldn't be waking up at 3
I
a.m.,
know.
you know? And
Yeah.
something is off. But it can be fixed. We just have to figure out what's
Yes,
off. So,
absolutely. And that's what I tell people. God designed our body to be able to heal. We just have to give it the right things to do that. So that's what I love about these tests is that it really can show us exactly where the body is, struggling and how we can support it instead of like, oh, I have this symptom, so let me take this supplement and then you're just taking all these supplements and I just see it time and time again. People aren't getting well and then they're frustrated and then they're like, well, alternative or holistic doesn't work because I've tried everything. But really, they're taking good things for their body, but it's just not what their body needs in that moment to recover, to get
right.
over that hump.
Yeah. And sometimes we take so many supplements that it just turns into really expensive urine. Like we're
Yes.
just peeing it out.
Yes. Yes. And especially if there's, problems in the GI going on, inflammation in the gut, you're not properly, breaking down and absorbing those supplements or nutrients. So
Yeah.
that can also be an issue.
Okay, so I want to talk about the GI test, but real quick, when someone does the Dutch test or Dutch Plus, the results will come to you and then they
Yes.
can have a virtual appointment with you.
Yeah, so once we get those results in, I think with the Dutch, it can take 2 or 3 weeks to get the results back. But once we got the results back, we just schedule a Zoom meeting and I would go over those results and then give my recommendations moving forward from there.
Okay, can you share, like obviously not a patient's name, but could you share an example of how an appointment looks and maybe what kind of protocol or recommendations you would have for someone?
Yeah. So I'll just give my dad as an example because
Okay,
he's
yeah.
honestly the last patient I did a Dutch test on. So my dad is overcoming breast cancer as a male, and his is estrogen and progesterone positive as well as HER2 positive. So, with him having that hormonal component, I really wanted to do a Dutch test on him and to see what was going on in his body. So, on his Dutch test, first of all, his cortisol is just tanked, completely tanked, had zero. So his adrenals are really struggling to make DHEA, which then makes testosterone and estrogen and all the things. He was on corticosteroids for years because he had asthma, chronic allergies. So the doctors would just prescribe him steroids all the time. And those steroids really, really tank your adrenals and your adrenal hormones. So we've really been having to support his adrenals with like desiccated adrenal and some adrenal complexes that have like licorice and ashwagandha. And I'm a really big advocate for using herbal medicine because I believe that God gave us plants on this earth that can have healing properties to help us heal. So I use herbs when possible. And then I'll use, if needed, some more isolated nutrients. But one of the biggest things on his Dutch test that was like, wow, was when I looked at his estrogen. So we hear the word estrogen, and a lot of times we just think there's just one estrogen. Well, there's not. There's actually three different types of estrogens. And then within estrone, there's three more different branches of estrogen. So you have the 16 hydroxyestrone, you have the 4 hydroxyestrone, and you have the 2 hydroxyestrone. Well, the 4 hydroxyestrone actually is very, very damaging to DNA when it's in too high of levels. So that is the estrogen that actually damages DNA and can cause cancer, and it can put you at a higher risk of cancer. So it needs to be in balance with the 16 and the 2. Well, my dad's 4 hydroxy was off the charts. So
Wow.
that DNA damaging cancer causing estrogen was completely like red,
Yeah.
pedal to the metal, off the charts. So
Do you think that was from damage from the steroids, or was there environmental factors, or Have you figured out what caused that to be so high?
So we are bombarded with all sorts of estrogens, xenoestrogens. It's in plastic, it's in chemicals, it's in our food. So really, we're having this attack on our body anyway with estrogen. And then if you throw in things like GI dysfunction, liver dysfunction, and the body can't properly metabolize and clear all those estrogens, it's going to cause problems.
Hmm.
Also, alcohol. Alcohol is very damaging to DNA, and your body can't properly metabolize hormones and estrogen when it's having to compete to metabolize alcohol.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, in my dad's younger years, he abused alcohol. He's been sober for many, many years now, but I do think that was one of the big things that played a role in him developing cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer is multifaceted. We know that.
Yeah.
It's not just one thing, one smoking gun, but it's accumulation of all these different things that make the terrain there for cancer to develop. So,
Which is why it takes a multifaceted approach too,
yes,
not just one
yes,
thing. I think a lot of times people want the one supplement.
yes,
Like we get
yes,
asked all the time, what's the one thing? And it's
yeah,
like, it's not though, because
yes,
if you did just one thing, you'd be missing all these other things, you
yeah.
know?
I
So
know. We want a magic bullet,
I
but
know, I know. Okay, so the Dutch test would show all those different types of estrogen.
It
Okay.
does, and it shows me how your body's metabolizing and methylating. So with my dad's, we really did so there's different pathways to hormones getting pushed. And so for him, we did things to specifically, it's called like an aromatase inhibitor. That's what pushes DHEA to testosterone versus estrogen. So we really did a lot of natural things that help push that pathway so that his DHEA is going to testosterone, which he was low in, and not estrogen. And then we do things to help detox estrogen and help to really push the methylation in the liver to metabolize these estrogens and then also help with the DNA damage that's been taking place.
Mm-hmm. Is your dad doing coffee enemas?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Multiple times a week.
Good.
And that's one of the big things that helps your liver to metabolize
Yeah.
excess estrogen. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
eliminating through stool too.
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
if you're not pooping, you're not getting rid of toxins. You're not getting rid of excess hormones. They're just recirculating in your body. So,
Yeah. Yeah. You know, one thing I did, I have had to do postpartum this time around. I don't know why, but I had to be using a wild yam cream and I put it on my wrist.
yeah.
Sometimes I rotate different parts, but
Yeah.
I think I was low in progesterone coming
Yes.
off of being postpartum. I don't know. I've never struggled, but I just was feeling a little low and having some irregular spotting
Yeah.
that happened. So anyway, it's crazy because if that starts up again, I put the wild yam cream on and it stops. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I am so new to this side. I feel like when Zach had rectal cancer, I just threw myself into studying gut,
Yeah.
and not hormones. So I'm really learning so much from this. So
I
anything
see that a
else?
lot.
Yeah, anything else from the Dutch test that you think would be beneficial for people, information for people to know from that test?
Um, so it goes down the whole hormone cascade. So, progesterone, I see a lot of women, they're struggling with low progesterone because progesterone is one of the first things that will tank when your body's under stress.
Mm,
And so even women that I see that have low estrogen, if their progesterone is low too, and the balance of estrogen and progesterone are off, they can still have estrogen dominance. So I see estrogen dominance as a really big issue that a lot of women are struggling with and a lot of their hormonal symptoms are coming from. So it tells us, what your progesterone levels are. It also breaks down testosterone into androgens. And so you'll see people that have the PCOS and that have the hair on their face growing and trouble losing weight and things like that. It'll tell us what the androgen levels are doing that, could potentially be causing those symptoms. So um, It goes through that, and it also tests for some organic acids too. So B vitamins, glutathione, dopamine, norepinephrine, melatonin. So it will tell us what your body is metabolizing of those things too.
Yeah, that's interesting. Glutathione would be a really a good marker, I think, to know about yourself. I think well, coffee enemas increase glutathione, but
Yes.
can you explain to someone who might not know what glutathione is and why it is important when detoxing?
Yeah, so glutathione is the body's master antioxidant. So it's produced in the liver and it's needed to scavenge these free radicals that we're exposed to every day. And so if glutathione levels are low, then you could have increased free radicals and inflammation in your body that's causing damage and damage to your DNA. So it's super important for, your overall health, your immune health. One of the problems with Tylenol and taking Tylenol is that it completely depletes your glutathione in your liver. So
Yeah.
it's good to make sure that your body is able to adequately produce glutathione and support your liver with that.
Yeah, and I know a lot of times people will give Tylenol when their kids are sick or if they
Mhm.
have a fever, and it's like
Yeah,
you're taking your body's ability to detox, to get this
I know.
virus or bacteria, whatever, out of your body. You're taking that glutathione away with the Tylenol.
I
So
know.
it's counterintuitive. Like you can take away the fever or the body aches and chills, but you
Yeah,
then your body can't get it out. So
I know. I feel like we could have a whole other podcast
yeah.
just on fevers and how
Yes.
beneficial they are.
Yes, we really could. We really could. Okay. So the GI, let's switch over to that. The GI,
Yes,
which this is a test, it's GI map, right?
yes. So the GI map, it is a stool test that you do at home. It comes with a little vial. You collect your stool with a little, take a little shovel and put your stool in this vial and they test it off, they send it off and it's tested for a whole host of different things. Um, Infections, good bacteria, bad bacteria, parasites, viruses, occult blood, inflammation in your gut, how your gallbladder and pancreas are working, your gut's immune system, so many things. And, we both know how important gut health is for overall health, but I really love the GI map because it really gives you a picture into what's going on in the GI and what to do to help it to create a strong foundation because your gut health is a foundation of your overall health. So a lot of times if I am seeing hormonal issues in women, I love the Dutch test because it'll show us exactly, what's going on with their hormones. But then I'm like, okay, well, what's going on in their GI? What's going on with their liver? What's going on with their thyroid? What's going on with their immune system? And so that really gives us a starting point of how do we support the body and how do we get it moving forward?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the bacterias that I believe caused Zach's cancer was a bacteria called Fusobacterium,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a dental pathogen. So it starts in the mouth, which
Yep.
they found through an oral DNA test that we had him do. Fusobacterium was found in his mouth, but it's also the number one bacteria found in colorectal tumors.
Wow.
So I could go on and on about Fusobacterium alone, but I know that's one of the bacterias that are found in the GI map test.
Yes.
So I'm super curious for Zach to do this because he has been on a whole protocol that kills Fusobacterium,
Mm-hmm.
different herbs, and
Mm-hmm.
like cinnamon and clove.
Nice.
Um, but then also there's the good bacteria. We don't just want to
Yes.
kill all the bad bacteria. We have to
Yes.
increase that good bacteria. So
Yes.
I can't remember the name of the good bacteria, like Fuso, and then the good bacteria starts
Yeah.
with an L. I know that much. I could probably spell it.
There's so many different ones.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is about these stool tests is like these are only the bacteria that they've been able to isolate and identify.
Yeah.
There's millions and trillions that we don't even know about or like know what they do.
Yeah.
Um,
But just for us personally, I think in
yes,
any other colon cancer um thriver or someone that's
yes,
still healing, this would be so good for them to do. Such good information to
yes.
know. So eventually I'd love for Zach to do for
I
Zach to
think
do
he
this.
should. I think it's one of those tests that's like necessary. Like you should be doing this test if you are overcoming cancer currently or you're a thriver, like, every 6 months and then every year, it would be good to do this
Yeah.
test to just make sure everything is going well or if there's some tune-ups you need to do.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think it's not necessarily like adding more supplements always. A lot of times
yeah,
it's, okay, let's see what's in the environment that's causing this, or what kind of
yes,
dietary changes can we make that would help supplement, you're really missing a lot of good bacteria, good gut
yeah,
bacteria. You're missing some. So what kind of foods can we add in? So,
exactly.
um, anyways, okay, so say I think everyone should probably start off with a GI
Yeah,
map. But what are some symptoms that someone could be having that would make them want to do this test? Obviously, cancer.
yes, yes.
But I mean, what about like all of the celiacs or the colitis, like
Yeah,
diverticulitis, ulcerative colitis,
yeah.
all those things. Like,
All those things, but even like the more common symptoms that you see, like bloating,
mm,
like I'm always bloated, or every time I eat, I bloat. Like that's not normal.
yeah,
Um, Burping a lot, having a lot of gas, constipation, diarrhea, or going back and forth between the two, having any like sort of burning sensation, acid reflux.
mm,
A lot of people have acid reflux and they think they get on these proton pump inhibitors or like antacids because they're told that they have too much stomach acid when in reality they're not producing enough.
yeah,
And then when you get on those drugs and they inhibit your stomach from forming acid, then you're not digesting your food and then you're not absorbing nutrients.
mm-hmm,
And it causes a whole host of issues. So, um, any sort of acid reflux, stomach pains, like I hear a lot like people's stomachs hurting after they eat. Yeah. So,
yeah.
and then of course, if you have colitis or Crohn's or anything like that, where you have something inflammatory that's going on in your GI. Um, and there was something else, but it just slipped my mind.
That's okay. So if when someone gets through these results, they can also have an appointment with you and you can help go over the results?
Yes. So any of the testing that I recommend, we can go over Zoom. So a lot of times with people, honestly, I start with the GI map and then I do blood labs too with like a CBC with diff, a CMP, the inflammatory markers like CRP and thyroid markers. I like to do those first because it just gives us a really good starting point of where a person's at and it gives us things that we can actively work on. And sometimes we do a Dutch along with all three of those at the same time. Or what we'll do is we'll work on the gut
Hmm.
and then we'll do the Dutch test to see where the hormones are then. And then we can fine tune hormones from there.
Sure. Yeah. And a lot of times, do you see that when people fix their gut, heal their gut, the hormones kind of just balance themselves
They
out?
do.
They take
So
care of
many
themselves.
times they
Yeah.
do. Yeah. And so we don't even need to necessarily do a Dutch test at that point.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I'm so excited for both tests. I think it's the more information that we have, the better
Yes.
we can do. Like when you know
Yes.
better, you do better, right?
Yes.
Like and how are we going to do better if we don't know what's really going on?
Exactly. And it's like when you're overcoming chronic illness, it's like just finding all the pieces to the puzzle. And the more pieces that we have of the puzzle, the more we can see like what's going on. So yeah, obviously there is so much benefit. And if you can, I tell patients, if you can do all three tests at once, then, I recommend it. Let's do it. But I also understand that sometimes we have to take things in bite-sized chunks and stepwise process. And I'm always here to do what's best for the patient. And I listen to their individual story. And, it's never a one size fits all approach when it comes to healing. So I really take that in mind.
Yeah. Okay, so you can do virtual, but if someone lives close to you, or like us, I think we were 4, 5 hours away.
Yeah.
We traveled to you and made it a family trip out of it. But um, are you okay telling where your clinic's at if someone lives?
Yeah.
Okay, and the name of
Yes.
it, and then if they would come see you in person, what would that appointment look like?
Yeah, so my clinic is in Clarksville, Tennessee. It is Selah Chiropractic and Wellness. So I'm a chiropractor. That's really what got me into all this. Well, my daughter and I's health is what really inspired me to get into this field, but that's a whole nother story. But chiropractic is my passion because chiropractic affects the nervous system, and our nervous system controls every single cell, tissue, organ system in our body. So I really believe chiropractic care is foundational to your overall health because if your brain isn't able to properly communicate to the different organs and organ systems, then it doesn't really, no amount of supplements or diet changes or anything you do is it's going to be like an uphill battle for you. So chiropractic takes stress off of the nervous system so the brain can properly communicate to the body. And so like I see a lot of times with digestive issues and even hormonal issues that chiropractic care can really resolve those things. And
Hmm.
it's not me resolving it. It's when you take the stress off the body, then the body then can function how it was designed to. So
Yeah.
like the vagus nerve is so important because it controls our 2/3 of our GI, one of those producing stomach acid. So if you have a low tone of your vagus nerve, you're not going to produce stomach acid, you're not going to digest your food, you're not going to absorb those nutrients. You're going to have constipation, like this cascade of issues. It's also responsible for our parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest, and that's where our body heals. So, vagus nerve exits the brain and it goes through C1, that first vertebra of our spine. So, if there's stress in that area, then that is going to affect the vagal nerve tone. And then it's going to put us in more of that sympathetic state or that fight or flight.
Hmm.
And we can't heal if we're in fight or flight. We're running from a tiger. You're either going to poop yourself or you're going to be constipated if you're running from a tiger.
Yeah.
You're not going to be worried about fertility if you're running from a tiger. Like your body just does what it needs to do to survive.
Hmm.
And that's so many times what I see with patients. It's just the world that we live in. Like there's just so much stress constantly on us day to day. And stress can be physical, it can be mental, emotional, chemical, environmental. So really my job as a chiropractor is to help the body function at its best and remove stressors. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Dr. Taylor, I want to call you Taylor, but you're Dr.
Yes.
Taylor.
You can call me Taylor.
Um, Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. I know that the people who watch this will reach out and benefit from it. It's part of the root cause healing, which you can't just mask symptoms or take symptoms away. Your body is telling a story and it uses symptoms to tell it, and we have to listen to it. We even tell our kids, listen to your bodies, when they
Yeah.
have tummy aches. Well, what's your body saying? Do you need to sit on the toilet? Do you need to try to get some poop out? Or,
Yeah.
what's your body saying? And I think adults need to hear that too. What is your body saying? And
Yes.
we have these awesome tests that we can run, super valuable, lots of information that we can get from them. And I'm just so excited that I hope people take advantage of that. So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me.
yeah, yeah, it's been awesome. I told Zach we should come and visit again sometime.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we do for sure soon.
I woke up the day we came to visit you. Do you remember this? I woke up, I couldn't even
Yes.
walk. My
Yes.
back hurt so bad. Now, mind you, I am getting up a lot at night nursing
Right.
and sitting in a rocking chair, falling asleep in a rocking chair.
Yeah. So
Um,
stressors
yes.
on your body.
And my posture's not great in general, but now when I'm nursing too, not
Yes.
great.
Yes.
But I woke up and I was like, my lower back, I'm like, I cannot move. And I thought, thank you, God. You made you like we are going to be seeing Taylor, Dr. Taylor today. So the timing of that was perfect. And then the next day, it didn't feel any better right after, but the
Yeah.
next day I woke up, no pain.
That's
I could
amazing.
like bend down and jump and I like those little things that I was like bracing myself for
Ah,
went away. So
that's
anyway,
amazing. Praise God.
yeah.
It's
So I'm gonna
awesome.
have Zach do the GI test.
Yes.
And maybe here after I'm done nursing, I will do the maybe the Dutch test.
Yes.
I'd like to figure out
Sure.
why I'm crashing in the afternoon and
Yeah.
uh
That's no fun.
yeah, no. So anyway, thank you so much, Taylor.
You're
Dr.
welcome.
Taylor.
You're fine.
Um, so anyway, okay, thank you. See you guys.
Bye.